Hello, friends. Jai Mohanji. I am Rimchim Prasad, and with Mohanji's grace, I have the privilege of reading his Guru Leela Part 2 Flowers of Gratitude to Mohanji. We can say that this book is a Mohanji Satcharita consisting of 16 chapters and a foreword written by Avaduta Nadananji, Balkan Ebril, and Rajesh Kamath. I will be reading one chapter every week. With a very grateful heart, I begin with Mohanji's words. Gratitude, grace, growth. They are all related and interconnected. Gratitude ensures grace, grace ensures growth. These three aspects deliver love, life, and godliness in us. With love, Mohanji. From the editor's pen. Conviction, faith, and consistency. These are not just positive, transformative words. The power that comes with these qualities is incomprehensible. In the spiritual journey, at whatever frequency one may be in, with unshakable faith, rock solid conviction in oneself and the chosen path, and uncompromising consistency with the guide of Guru, one is sure to attain the ultimate goal or destination. While on the path towards attaining the ultimate goal, one will achieve a higher level of awareness that would not only increase one's spiritual frequency but would also be conducive for even bigger transformations in life. This is exactly what is seen in all the experiences that we have brought together in Guru Leela. In this edition of Guru Leela, spiritual enthusiasts who have been connected to Mohanji for many years with faith, conviction, and consistency have shared their life transforming experiences. For some, the transformation has been an improvement in health or career. For some, the transformation involved higher awareness of true spirituality and recognition of Godhood. For some, life changing capabilities which had a positive impact not only on their own life but also on the society and the world. Surely every experience shared is expressed with truth and honesty. Mohanji always insists, do not share your illusions, partial truths, hallucinations, or imaginations with the world. This would be more a disfavor than adding value to anyone's life if that is your intention. Whenever you share your truths, you should have actually experienced it, you should believe in it, and you should be able to talk about the tangible transformation in you from your experience. True spirituality is about the transformation the experience brought, and not just the experience. Every story brings out the extraordinary stature of this seemingly ordinary incarnation of Mohanji. They depict the unmanifested divinity in the physical form, what we see as Mohanji, who constantly tests conviction and faith at the most unexpected moment in the most unexpected way. Even though this confuses the closest associates of Mohanji, he has a definite answer. Ours is the path of liberation. Liberation is primarily from our ego sensor, from sensors such as the ego, personality barrier, the intellect, that is the analytical habit, and the mind, which is the emotional needs. These three factors bind us endlessly. One needs to disentangle from these factors consistently to overcome the boundaries of human limitations. Unless we overcome the mind matter mentioned earlier, one cannot be liberated. No liberation means more repetitive existences with its predictable patterns and habitual experiences. Some people call Mohanji father, some call him Baba, some call him Guruji, some call him Gurudev, some call him Babaji, and some simply call him Mohanji. For some, he is a father. For some, he is a guru. For some, he is a brother or the best friend. For some, he is the most beloved lover. For some, he is all in one. Some see Shiva in him, others see Krishna, Ram, Hanuman, Murugan, Maula Ali, or Jesus. Many consider him as an avatar of Lord Dattatreya. Some are convinced that he is Shirdi Sai Baba or Mahavatar Babaji, a true amalgamation of all traditions Datta, Nath, Siddha, Kriya Yoga, etc. Mohanji denies all such illusions consistently and guides us out of all mind created illusions. Sage Agastya, through Saint Devyamma, called him Jagat Mitra, the friend of the world, and later Vishwamitra, the friend of the universe. He is our friend in need, and he is a friend indeed, a friend who mirrors all our weaknesses and strengths and is always willing to stand by us through rain or shine. Regardless of what one calls him or recognizes in him a particular incarnation, Mohanji maintains his truth as being simply Mohanji. Nothing more, nothing less. He doesn't want to be compared with anyone else, whether it is a master or a god, nor does he want to be recognized as any particular incarnation. His absolute truth is that he is Mohanji. Mohanji says, "Do not be deluded. This is Mohanji, just another being on earth, another perishable human birth. I am not any being of the past, nor am I any being of the future. I am not Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Datta, Jesus, Sai, or any incarnation or avatar of the past or future. If any of you feel any resemblance in character or form, it is just because of your connection with the incarnation or an imaginary mental image. I am born as Mohanji and will die as Mohanji. I have no further relevance than what I deliver into this world, long as I deliver during my active years. I'm just like you, doing what I'm supposed to do here. I have all the needs, weaknesses, and strengths just as all of you have. I'm not special in any way. I am neither a master nor a disciple. I am what I am, playing the role that is entrusted to me by time, space, and my destiny. While this is true, one wonders why so many people see him and as all these in all these different forms. Why so many people recognize and connect to him in so many different ways. This answer is simple. We, those who love him, believe he is Parabrahma, the manifestation of the unmanifested. He is the purest form of the formless, totally camouflaged and disguised as one amongst us. In ordinary terms, he is like a mirror, the reflection of one's inner self. Hence, one with the inclination and connection with Hanumanji will see him as Hanumanji. One with the inclination and connection with Lord Shiva will see him as Shiva, and so on and so forth. Whatever the form or incarnation one may connect him with, anyone connected to his consciousness surely feels his presence every moment. His presence is felt beyond his physical existence. His presence is shown in his unconditional love and compassion towards every being. His presence is felt in the protection in his shield, of his shield. Just by thinking of him, just by uttering his name, people feel his presence and receive his protection. He is beyond rituals, beyond any religious activity or needs. He is beyond one's mind, logic, and intellect. He is inside the heart of one who loves him wholeheartedly. He is inside everyone, and everyone is inside him. He is in you. He is you. The stories in this volume of Guru Leela will make you realize this. The divine play of Mohanji is seen clearly in each and everyone's experiences and transformations. These experiences and transformations are not just enriching for the person who experienced it, rather, it will enlighten and enhance anyone's life who reads it now and for generations to come. Not only have we enjoyed compiling these stories, but we have also poured our love and devotion for our Guru Mohanji. While threading this garland of divine flowers called Guru Leela, with each story having its own unique fragrance. We hope all the readers and the listeners feel the power of Mohanji's divine Leela while reading and listening to these stories. Our deepest appreciation to the book presentation team, Mohana Hanumantananda for the cover page design, Venkatraman KV for the book layout design, Sarathi Raghavan for printing and consultation. Above all, thank you to Mohanji for being our invisible guide throughout this journey, without whom this love not have been would not have been a reality. With love, Rekha Murli, Shyama Jayaseelan, and Subhashri Dhatangal. Jai Brahmarishi Mohanji. I am born as Mohanji and will die as Mohanji. In the embrace of the tradition. Words from a Master, Avaduta Nadanand. One day in December 2015, I got a call from a stranger called Mohanji. I generally avoid taking calls from unknown people. He said that he would like to meet me. I reluctantly agreed. He came with his wife, his daughter, and two of his followers. I was curious to know how he came to know about me and why he came to see me. He said that he saw my picture in my autobiography that was gifted to him by a common friend and he felt drawn to meet me. He said he just came to take my blessings. I blessed him and his family and arranged accommodation for them in the neighborhood granary. He never complained. He never told me who he was. I also did not know what he did in the world except that he teaches sometimes meditations and gives satsangs, those are discourses. There are numerous teachers in this world who make a living through such services. I thought he was one of them. I did not think any further. I asked my mother, my Guru Taramai, and the Guru Mandali, the Gurus of the golden tradition, who is he? What should I do? The answer that came from the world of masters was crystal clear. He is one of us. Take care of him. Honoring Guru Mandali's request, I felicitated him the next day at our Datta Jayanti function with a shawl and a traditional Hindu welcome. Later, I realized that he has a value in the world and this is a recognized global spiritual leader, teacher. What surprised me were his humility, complete submission, and surrender without complaints. I usually avoid spiritual teachers and masters because of the formal protocols of behavior expected by them. In contrast, he came as a child and showed me reverence just like any of my own followers. He and his family were used to a better lifestyle, but they slept in the granary amidst rodents and insects for 2 full nights without any resistance or complaints. Also, he did not come with an agenda or have any expectations from me. A few months later, in February 2016, I called Mohanji. He was in Vaishno Devi for the birthday as per the Julian calendar. He casually mentioned that his birthday, as per the Hindu calendar, was in March. I told him to come to Dhar in March on his Hindu birthday to celebrate it. He said, Guruji, I don't celebrate my birthday. I told him that I wanted to celebrate his birthday and there was a reason behind it. He came to Dhar a day before his Hindu birthday. On the morning of his birthday, I initiated him into Sri Vidya. That was his birthday present. Even though Mohanji never asked me the reason for the initiation, I explained to him that did not need this for sadhana as a practice. I was initiating him because he was predominantly Shaivik and the Guru Mandali had instructed me to balance him with Shakti through this initiation, as he would have the combined stability of Shiva and Shakti. This initiation started the union of our consciousness. This initiation started the union of our consciousness. Our connection was strengthened and since then has remained unchanged. For me, celebration means sharing and caring for the ones that are less fortunate than us. I also know that feeding all beings, especially the underprivileged, is very dear to Mohanji. On that day, I arranged for Annadanam, that is food donations, in his name at our daily food camps at Dhar, as well as a special Annadanam for little underprivileged children in the neighboring slums. I arranged for him to participate in the food distribution as well. I also invited some small children from a nearby poor neighborhood to celebrate with us by having lunch with Mohanji. We had a big function with our Dhar community to celebrate the birthday. Complete to celebrate the birthday, complete with a satsang, devotional singing by a professional band, followed by dancing. A beautiful culmination planned by the Guru Mandali through me to honor one of our own. A month later, around the end of April 2016, I went on a trip to Mukambika, the place where I spent the most time with my dear Guru mother and Guru Ma Taramayi, and was visited by Bhriguram Paramhansa, the Guru of my Param Guru, Guru's Guru, Avaduta Nityananda. He informed me that the Guru Mandali wanted me to hand over my spiritual bank balance to Mohanji, as well as confer the title of Brahm Rishi on him. They also accepted my request to step down and surrender my responsibilities as pontiff of Gyanaganj. I was overjoyed. For lifetimes, I had been unable to find a worthy successor to hand over and relieve myself of Rishi Run, the debt of a Rishi. Over the years in this life too, I had groomed, nurtured, and mentored several people, but none were eligible to receive. Suffering from last stage cancer, I had given up hope of finding somebody in this life as well. But the tradition had done just that and finally provided someone who had the desired eligibility. When I came back to Bangalore, I called Mohanji and found out that he was in London. I asked him to meet me immediately on arrival in India. I was so happy that I wanted to share this information with him in person as soon as possible. Mohanji arrived in Delhi a few days later in year 2000, May 2016. He came to see me in Bangalore the very same day without bothering about jet lag. I had lovingly cooked dinner for him myself and was eagerly waiting to see him. I usually have my dinner very early. But this time I wanted to have dinner with Mohanji. Because he was getting late, he kept calling me and asking me to have my dinner. But I waited. He arrived late in the night, around 10 o'clock. I was so overjoyed to see him that I hugged him and said, My Mohanji, you have come back to me. I had been waiting for you for so long. After we had dinner, I revealed to him the wonderful news from Guru Mandali. I explained to him getting a ready made vessel to receive is not easy. You have the capacity to receive. Hence, you are meeting all the great masters in their last stages. They are all waiting to hand over to you and be free of their Rishi Run so they can leave. It is the same with me as well. I am going to give you everything that I have. If I did not do that, all that I have would have gone wasted. I have been crying to find someone eligible to hand over. I have been waiting for permission to withdraw from public life. You are the most eligible one to receive from me. The title of Brahmarishi had been conferred by the order of the Guru Mandali. This title is not my decision. This title is not your expectation either. I am delivering it to you on the auspicious day of Vijayadashmi, October 2016. This is not an ordinary day, an ordinary title, or an ordinary function. You will never be the same again. I will step down, you will climb up. I asked him if he had any objections to the same. Mohanji asked me about his eligibility to receive this grace. I told him the eligibility was being available. In our tradition, the only expectation from a follower is to be available, and everything is delivered. Nothing else matters who you are, your background, your sadhana, etc. So, what is being available? To bring the scattered mind together as one unit without oneself and surrendering it unconditionally at the feet of the Guru. Parshu- Parshuram, an avatar of Lord Vishnu, was available, and Lord Dattatreya transferred the knowledge of Sri Vidya to him. And we are continuing in the same tradition. The glass has to be empty for anything to be poured in it. Since you are available, you arrived. I further elaborated none of the masters have left you, nor I will leave you. They are meeting you to take their work forward, which you are performing selflessly. You are guiding people the way we all want. All those masters whom you met remained with peace and satisfaction that the work that they had started will continue through you and you will never have a personal agenda. Purity and innocence are your strengths. The world may not understand this. We do. The Guru Mandali does. And we are with you, behind you, and will never abandon you or let you suffer. You are meeting them during their last stages because you are here to merge and continue traditions. And the masters never owned anything anyway. The following month, in June 2016, one of Mohanji's close followers requested me to grace the opening of his new restaurant in Shirdi, which I accepted. During this visit, I asked Mohanji to keep an hour for just the two of us to spend time together in Shirdi. I had a specific purpose in mind behind that request. As we walked the streets of Shirdi and reached the temples within Shirdi Sansathan building complex, I saw the stage we were supposed to meet standing at the entrance of one of the temples. I took some money and asked Mohanji to go to the sage and give the money as dakshina. The sage was none other Briguram Paramhansa. The dakshina was symbolic and affirmed Mohanji's integration with Gyanganj. Once I connected Mohanji with Gyanganj, a part of my work was over. As I have told him many times before, I have made the sankalpa, expressing my deep wish that he will visit Gyanganj soon. This will surely happen in the near future. Every good act has many obstacles standing in its way. Such is the stature of the world. Many people questioned the decision to transfer my spiritual bank balance and confer the Brahmarishi title to Mohanji. It made me very upset when people expected me or Mohanji to explain. This was between me and Mohanji and was done with the instructions, grace, and the blessings of the Guru Mandali. I was destined to give it. Mohanji was destined to receive it. I strongly felt that no one else should have anything to do with it. I or Mohanji need not explain to anyone. To ensure that nothing would get in the way, I had decided to have the title conferment ceremony a couple months earlier in October 2016 rather than the earlier planned date of Datta Jayanti, that is December 2016. It was the holy day of Vijayadashmi, celebrating Lord Ram's victory over evil, and also the day of Sai Baba's Mahasamadhi, conscious exit from the body. It was one of the most important events in my life. That was the day I enriched my beloved brother, Mohanji, with all that I had earned up to that very point and became a complete pauper. I made a certificate authenticating my intention to honor Mohanji with the Brahma Rishi title. This was also as per the instructions of the Guru Mandali. We never know with people and their suspicious mind. Tomorrow, I don't want anyone questioning the authenticity of the title conferment after I leave the body. I wanted to leave absolutely no rooms or doubts. For this occasion, I lovingly made a Guru Parampara, that is the tradition, picture to honor the predominant powers of our tradition. Ardhanarishwar, Dakshinamurti, Hay- Hayagriva, Sage Agastya, Lord Dattatreya, Mahavtar Babaji, Adi Shankaracharya, Sai Baba, Shivananda Paramhansa, Bhagwan Nityanand, Ma Taramai, along with me and Mohanji. Usually, a Guru Parampara picture will have the lineage from the first Guru to the current one. This one was slightly different, in which the parampara was more like a brotherhood of masters rather than a strict guru disciple lineage. Each of the powers appeared at various eras for the sake of preservation of dharma. During the Guru Purnima function last year, July 2017, I gave him the highest Srividya initiation and also allowed him to sit through the Soham initiation. That was like a completion in putting everything together. Subsequently, when Mohanji came back from the Kailash trip in August 2017, I informed him that the Guru Mandali had suggested that they are directly working with him and I don't need to worry about this responsibility. This was in keeping with my request to be relieved of the responsibilities of Gyanganj. I have now retired from the public life and am borrowing energy and existence from my dear Guru and Mother Mara Mataramai as needed. As I recede further and further away from the public glare, the baton uh, has been passed over to the able hands of Mohanji and also people to manage and take forward my works and responsibilities for the times to come. And I rest easy in the knowledge that Mohanji will continue to work tirelessly on this path of the pathless with the complete grace, blessings, and backing of the Guru Mandali. I feel that he is none other than my own self. Speaking of him as another seems alien to me. Even though we may seem different outwardly, we share the same inward state of an avaduta, existing in the body but in complete detachment from it. The time we have known each other in this lifetime is just the tip of the iceberg that spans across countless lifetimes. The Guru Mandali worked in concert to bring us together in this lifetime and reinstate our relationship that is beyond space and time. Since he is merged in my consciousness, we don't need the medium of the transient physical body to communicate. For the sake of this world and its people, we maintain the separation so they can understand the eternal and inseparable love that exists between a guru and a disciple or two lovers of the supreme consciousness. Even though technically we share a guru disciple relationship, I always consider him as my younger brother. I am the son of the mother Shakti, and he is the son of the father Shiva. That is, I represent the qualities of the Divine Mother, and he represents Shavik qualities of the Father. I have very less to do with the Father, and him correspondingly with the Mother. Yet, being children of the same parents, we are brothers and we do love to have fun and argue and fight like brothers at times. However, bearing the mantle of the Guru, I shield him as fiercely as would a protective mother. Nothing can dare touch him. Forget a thorn. I dare even a mere thought against him to try and reach him because it has to go through me first. My brother, on the other hand, is a fearless and an adventurous wanderer who does not bother much about his personal safety. So he ensures that I have to work hard to ensure that no harm comes to him. This is a book on the experiences of a guru by his followers. Hence, I would like to share my thoughts on the guru principle and the guru disciple relationship. This is truly only one guru, which is the supreme unmanifested consciousness. For us, it is represented as Lord Dattatreya. Hence, in our tradition, all gurus are considered as representations of Lord Dattatreya. Mohanji is the same. The Guru exists only to gather deluded and suffering individuals to liberation, complete merger with the Supreme Consciousness. True Gurus will always be natural, authentic, fearless, confident. having deep faith and conviction in their tradition, and extremely spontaneous, guided by the great tradition of liberation and Sanatan Dharma. They never consider themselves as gods. Rather, they consider themselves as servants of the one God who is omnipotent, omnipresent, and who cannot be experienced unless one nullifies oneself completely. Further signs of a true guru are selflessness, living for others, always others before self, complete clarity in their thoughts, words, and actions. They are free and keep others free. Absolutely no binding, commitments, bondages, obligations, no boundaries, zero expectations, and extreme flexibility. Those who visit them and being totally empty of thoughts, they become those who visit them. They have no expectation and do not question anything, since everything happens by the will of the tradition. They have no differentiation or discrimination. All are equal in front of them, and they love all beings equally. Their job is to fill the disciple up to the extent that they are empty. The powers that a master acquires in the path of liberation are spontaneous and unbinding. These powers are also signs of liberation when there are zero dependencies on them. True gurus would not care or check what powers they have. They live a natural life like a flowing river. You can clearly see this in the way Mohanji lives. True masters attain Krishnatva, being the Krishna, Kashatya iti Krishna, that which attracts its Krishna. Lord Krishna was very attractive because of his stature. When one's tejas, fire or illumination overflows, one will have Krishna bhava, flavor, and will naturally attract people. When a guru operates from the ninth level of consciousness, purest consciousness, people find him or her pleasing and attractive because of their pure energy, and in their energy field, people get purified and cleansed and reach the ultimate reality. This is our true purpose. I, Mohanji, and other gurus who have chosen to come to earth all have the same purpose: take people to the ultimate reality. Yet we have zero expectations from the followers. We don't care who they are, why they are there, what they are giving in return, etc. It is entirely up to them to selflessly share what they have received for the sake of their purification and stability. It is not the Guru's obligation to tell his followers if he or she is real. The followers have to develop the eyes to see the stature of the Guru. One has to be with the Guru without concepts and prejudices or experience his stature. One has to be deeply and positively connected to see the depth and positivity of the Master. The follower need not recognize, they must believe. They must surrender. If you are going from one place to another and don't trust your driver, you will be afraid throughout your whole journey. The Guru is like the driver on your spiritual journey to the ultimate. In one's sadhana or the practices, the one required ingredient is nirbhayata, fearlessness. When you are with a true Guru, you will automatically be fearless. Trishna hi parmo dukham. Expectation is the main cause of sorrow. If the follower has any expectations, material, emotional, intellectual, etc., they cannot merge with the Guru. Those who need everything can never be satisfied with anybody. Those who need nothing have everything. The sign of a true disciple is the lack of why in their mind. Never ask why or how. I now close this note by showering blessings on my dear brother Mohanji to empower him for his continuing mission in this world. I bless that my dear brother Mohanji be given everything and more than he needs for carrying out his mission to a wonderful completion. I bless that his presence and teachings spread far and wide in the world so that earnest seekers across the world who are thirsting for liberation get closer to their chosen goal. I shall be with him at every step, even if I do not have a body. The Guru Mandali is with him. Divine Mother is with him. Our Supreme Guru Lord Dattatreya is always with him. I bless that Mohanji's followers live a selfless life and care for the world to the best of their capabilities, to the best of their abilities, under the guidance of his teachings. May they live his teachings always. May every thought, word, and action of his followers be full of purpose and be aimed at serving for the greater good of the world. I bless that my dear brother Mohanji has beautiful ashrams around the world, totally rooted in purity, ahimsa, and Sanatan Dharma, the eternal religion, which will be the path and destination of millions to merge with the Supreme Parabrahma. I bless that my dear brother Mohanji be protected from all negativities. I offer my eternal blessings to all the earnest seekers on the path of liberation and hope that this book, through the experiences, offers them guidance on all aspects of the Guru follower relationship. My Ashirwads, blessings to all. May the Guru Mandali bless you always. Avaduta Nadananda. With this, I complete today's reading. I shall be back again next week.